Hey everybody, it's your girl Brandy Yvonne. Welcome back to the Brandy Yvonne channel. Of course, I'm your girl Brandy Yvonne. Here we do fun reviews, discussion, and recaps of some of our favorite shows. Tonight we are back with a new season of Ready to Love. Now, I am so confused. Is this Ready to Love season 5? Is this Ready to Love season 6? Is this Ready to Love season 5B? I don't know. I haven't decided if I'm going to put season 5 or season 6 in the title. I'd seen a YouTuber already put season 6, so I feel like us viewers feel like it's season 6, but I think they don't count the resort house as official season. I think that they think OWN considers it its own season, because I noticed on the OWN app that it says this is season 5, even though last season was considered season 5. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Tonight was the first episode of Ready to Love, and we are in Potomac. So Tommy went across the river from DC to Potomac, and we're going to be talking about that today. The episode was about quality versus quantity. So let's get into it. I'm going to try my best to remember all of the names. A couple of the names are difficult, but we're going to do our best. We're not going to go in any particular order. We're just going to kind of highlight, try to touch on every person, talk about who was eliminated and all that good stuff. Before we get too far, let's do some housekeeping. Let's click that like button, okay? Let's, support each other here on the YouTube. Let's also subscribe, as I said earlier. Also comment so we could discuss this new season. I know we are still dealing with some of the drama from the last season, but we are going to just push our way forward to the new season. Let me know what you all think in the comments about these new casts, first of all. Just starting out, first impressions of the new cast. There's something about the new cast I do like, and I don't want to do the compare Potomac to DC. I'm going to try not to do that too much. But there's something a little bit more real about this season. Not to discredit my DC. I love my DC season. Anyway, let's see. Everybody looked good. There were definitely more men that I found attractive in this new season for Potomac, okay? And we're going to get into all of that. So I don't remember the particular order everybody came out. I know Paul, a.k.a. P.O., was like the first guy to come out. Paul, P.O., parole officer, post office, P.O. box, whatever you want to be called. That's kind of corny in my opinion. He's giving me a little bit of Corey vibes, okay? Okay, a little bit of Corey vibes. So I'm just trying to see what direction is Paul trying to go in. I'm surprised he didn't get eliminated. I thought for sure he was going to get eliminated because he was rubbing all the ladies the wrong way, okay? One of the next girl, I believe, was Danica, was her name, or Denisha. Then we had, was it Kina or Sabrina? We had Clifton. Let me just name all the people, no particular order. Demetrius, Joy, Clifton, Laverne, Fernando, Wiley, Tori, Precious, if I didn't say Precious, Tiffany, Kina. I think I got everybody. So I think it was 7 men and 7 women. So usually we all know in Ready to Love fashion, they start out with like 10 men and 10 women, but this time they're only starting out with 7 each. And then as we see in the previews, they're going to add people later on blind dates. That's the big twist this year. I still say they need to go back to doing the resort house format. Just make that the new regular season thing, is for them all to be in a house at the same time all the time, because that's then all they can focus on and truly be ready to love. But anyway, I don't make the rules. So Tommy tells them, we're going to help you simplify your dating life, help you focus on quality, not quantity. We don't have, nobody else is coming, so don't be looking around, because it's just the 7 men and the 7 women. So they're mixing and mingling. Some of the conversations that got highlighted, we saw Demetrius talk to Sabrina, and they had a great in-depth conversation. They both were previously married, and Sabrina said her and her ex were young and they didn't really know who they were, and figuring out life together was hard, and that's understandable. And Demetrius talked about how he cheated in his previous marriage, and he learned a lot from that, and he seems like maybe he's done his work. Okay. He also was in the military. A lot of the women liked Demetrius. As far as looks go, Demetrius is not my particular type. Like, he was nice looking, but I wouldn't first glance go for Demetrius. Maybe I would enjoy him more in person. I don't know. Let's see. Then we had Fernando. Who was it? Was it Joy or Kina? One of the ladies had said something about Fernando being a little wider in his hips or something. But then she kind of liked him because he said he can cook and he's from Panama. Fernando seemed like a nice guy. Fernando's ex cheated on him, had somebody sleeping in his bed, like the Drew Hill song, and all that, and going to swingers things without him. I said, dang, poor Fernando was done wrong. Okay, poor Fernando. Then we saw, there was also a young lady named Ace. She was really into yoga. She also had been married before. I think she said for like a year and a half. Let me just go on to Ace and P.O. because that was the conversation that irritated me. So Paul, aka P.O., was sitting down talking to Ace and was like, so tell me about yourself. First of all, I feel like that's so... I know this is not an organic setting to meet people, but it is like a mixer and a party. So you're mingling. So you would do that naturally, like if you were out anyway. But the way he was like, so tell me about yourself, like, that's not a way to get to know people. You ask questions. So like, okay, how was your day? Well, what is your job? You do stuff like meaningful questions, not just tell me about yourself. Like, what's she gonna write a paragraph to you? Like, what you want, Paul? Anyway. So she goes on to say, oh, yeah, I'm 37, I was married before, but, now I'm divorced. And he was like, hold up, wait, how long were you married? She said she was married a year and a half. And he was like, wait, hold on, what happened? Why are you not married anymore? And then she was like, oh, just young, didn't work out. Like, she didn't really, I don't know what answer he was looking for, but then he started grilling her, like, what happened? Why didn't it work out? Like, and I forgot what else he asked her, but it was just very much like, relax, like, calm down. And he was like, oh, she didn't seem like she had enough grit. I'm like, what did he want from her on the first day? Like, I don't understand. Maybe he wanted her to go more in depth about the marriage. I don't know. But the way he came about it and asked her about it and kind of grilled her about it was just a little weird and disingenuous, in my opinion. You guys comment below, let me know what you thought about that scene, because I didn't like it. That's what made me say bye, P.O. Box. Okay, anyway, let's see, what other conversations? Precious was my girl. Precious came with that red dress, that cutouts and them slits. I said, come through, Precious. Precious didn't come to play. Precious was flirting. Precious was putting the moves. Okay, did y'all see? Precious had game. She had that thigh out with that split high. I said, come through, Precious. Precious did not come to play, okay? She had a great conversation with Tori about just their childhood issues and mom's not being really present emotionally, and Precious' mom not being present there physically. Her aunt had to raise her. And they kind of really bonded over that, and they kind of seemed like they both could have a tough exterior, but they really want to get down to being vulnerable as well. I could see them maybe working out. I only worry about if they would have a trauma bond. That's the only thing that makes me nervous for them. But, it's cute. Tori was really good. I noticed every lady he talked to, he really tried to go in depth in the right way, like the way P.O. should have done. He really asked the questions in the right way. Let's see, who else did we see? Wiley, I think he was 31. Wiley was cute too. He was talking to Kina. Now, Kina's older. I don't remember how old Kina is. But she was like, how old are you, Wiley? And he was like, 31. And then he was like, how old are you? And she's like, I'm older. And then he was like, oh, well, I like older women. I don't know if he said that just to get her or if he really likes older women. And then she was like, asking him about where he works. He said he works at a high school. So do I. And so she was not feeling him. She was like, no, I wouldn't mess with him. He's too young. Oh, and the other thing I didn't like about Kina, she said, oh, you look 35 to me. Like, he's 31 or 32. Like, how dare you say he looks 35? He don't even look 35. First of all, he looked younger than his 30s. So I was like, girl, bye. Because we're not going to talk about how old you look. But anyway, sorry, y'all. I wasn't trying to be shady today. Anyway, we also saw Clifton. Y'all, Clifton. Now, Clifton is like my type. I like a teddy bear, like not overweight, but just a big guy, just tall, big man. His voice is super deep. I love a deep voice. The beard. He reminded me of my current ex so much, especially the voice. I was like, oh my gosh, his voice sounds just like my ex's voice. It was kind of crazy. And then similar, like big guy and the beard. I was like, oh Lord. But yeah, Clifton, I'm like, hey Clifton. Anyway, Joy was really feeling Clifton. Joy's a singer. Precious does IT. I don't remember everybody's jobs. I didn't have time to look all that over all that. Side note, before we get to everybody else, this first episode felt so rushed. In the beginning, they're like shooting people at the car, doing names, flashing names real quick, move on to the next person. I'm like, wait, who was? I had to keep rewinding, watch the episode multiple times to catch names and get that straight, try to figure out the ages, who everybody was, because they rushed it so much. And I know they usually do a casting special where Will Packer and nephew Tommy both sit down and discuss the cast. I think last time it was Jason and Liz discuss DC cast. But anyway, so it felt like they took a casting special and first episode and merged it into one, because they would show little clips like they do in the casting special. It was just felt so rushed. Like they threw this season out there, and I hope the whole season does not feel like that, because that's not gonna be cool. And like, it sucks for us as the viewers ready to love. Like, don't do us like that, okay? But anyway, back to the people. Who else do we have? Fernando was trying to conversate with Joy and different people. Joy was not feeling Fernando. Let's see, Laverne, was that his name? Or Lamerne? I think that was his name. He was a bald guy with glasses too and a beard. But he was like a big guy as well. I wasn't really attracted to him, but in his confessionals, he liked to keep it on his glasses. And so all the ladies was liking him too. And he, at one point during the night, he had his own little corner and the ladies were just rotating through. I said, oh, okay. Now, I will say this first episode of season of Ready to Love reminds me of the prior seasons, where, especially that first episode where people are talking to each other and then like somebody else wants to come talk and they kind of swoop in, but it's very like respectful, like it was no issue. And I was like, oh, okay, this is like the old way things used to go. And so Laverne, he talked to Precious. I guess he used to do bodybuilding, and Precious is like, yeah, I remember he used to do bodybuilding. So it seems like they knew each other already, if I'm not mistaken. And she wants him to train her to do the bikini contest. You know how the men do the bodybuilding, the women do the bikini one. And so they were talking about that. I believe he was talking to Sabrina first, and then Precious came through, and she was, because they were talking about Laverne was talking about he's from Gary, Indiana. And telling Sabrina, you know, that's where the Jacksons are from and all this stuff they're known for. And then here comes Precious saying, hey, like, I heard something about Michael Jackson. I'm going to moonwalk and swoop right up in here and swoop you away. So she basically was like, I'm swooping in and swooping Sabrina out. I said, okay, Precious, go for yours, girl. And so then Precious and her and Laverne talking. Then here comes Keema. Keema came and sat in on a lot of people's conversations, I noticed, because there's one point Clifton and Danica, is that her name? Or Denisha were talking. I think it's Danica. And Clifton and Danica really were hitting it off, talking about traveling and how they both want to live on the beach and everything like that. And so then here comes Kina, and then he posed a question to her. And then she said, oh, I want to live in Atlanta and Houston or something, she said. And then she was in her confessional, was like, oh, I didn't really want to talk about this. I got a headache. I need to sit down. And Clifton could tell, he was like, yeah, she seemed like she was just tired. And I was like, oh, it was the end of the night, though. The other thing that was going on, it looked real hot and humid out there. Everybody was sweating. At one point, we seen Fernando talking to Joy. He had to take his prayer cloth out and wipe his head and stuff. He was sweating and there was bees around. I said, oh no. So let's see, who else? Did we hit on everybody? Wiley, somebody else Wiley talked to, I can't remember now. And then we had Tiffany, she spoke with Tori, and Tori was trying to ask her some in-depth questions, and she kind of seemed kind of surface level. She wasn't really going in depth. And so Tori felt that. Let's see. I think we covered everybody, if I'm not mistaken. So let's just go on to the elimination. So, of course, 2 people were going home that day, a man and a woman, right? So when Tommy went around and asked all the women, okay, who are you not feeling and who are you feeling? So number 1 person they were feeling was Demetrius. Everybody's loved Demetrius, Laverne, and the other guys, but who they did not feel, and Clifton for sure, and they were not feeling P.O. Box, and they were not feeling Fernando. They just didn't get enough good conversation from Fernando. And I feel bad for Fernando, especially what he had went through with his ex-wife. So deliberations, Tommy, okay, this is one thing that was like, what is up with this? During the elimination time, when Tommy went to eliminate the men, he just said, okay, there's one guy the women are not feeling, and he just straight up said Fernando. When he went to eliminate the women, he said there's 2 women the men are not feeling, and he named Tiffany and Kina. And I'm like, why did he feel the name to name the other girl? So now she's like on edge, like Tiffany's like, oh, am I about to be eliminated? So now she knows that she was close to being eliminated. I mean, I guess it's good for her to know, so she'll step her game up. But I just kind of felt it was weird. Like, why'd you name 2 women for elimination, but you only named one man, even though you're only eliminating 1 man and 1 woman? So I thought I thought that was weird. Anyway. So yeah, moving forward, we saw Kina got eliminated, which I kind of figured she was. None of the men were feeling her. They just kind of got like a homegirl vibe for her. Yeah, she just was not giving. She was not giving. Tiffany, she did make the statement earlier that she had just wanted to be first everybody start out friends and then work her way to something. But girl, at Ready to Love, you don't really have time for that. Like, yeah, you do need the friendship foundation, but you also need to be ready for love. Like, that's the premise of the show. It's not ready for a friend. So, and she did seem like she had like a wall up. Sabrina was the top for the men, and she was worried she was going to get eliminated, but she was one of the top females. They also liked Joy and Precious. Precious is, she's very flirty, and you could tell she's kind of outward sexually. I'm interested to see how things go for her with this process. But yeah, so far, I like this new cast, and I like this new season. I'm interested to see where things go, especially with them adding in people and the way they are going to add in people. And we shall see what happens, y'all. This was a good first start to the season. I just didn't like the rushed thrown together feeling of this first episode. They definitely could have just did a casting special so we got a little break and eased us into Potomac, but it's all good. It is what it is, and we will see. So next week will be the 2nd episode, and I will see you guys back here same place, same time. We'll do the Janet Jackson documentaries tomorrow, and I'll see you all soon. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.